I know you're feeling something different, a sensation that pulls you that can't be ignored. It's like you can't get this person out of your head, like every thought is about them, every moment is shared, even from afar. You feel it, right? It's not just a physical attraction, it's something deeper, something that touches something you can't quite explain but that is there, so real and so strong. This person thinks about you all the time. They are completely involved, and for them what you have goes beyond what anyone has ever experienced. It's not just about what you do together, but about the intensity of what you feel, something that can't be measured but is in every gesture, every look. This connection is something that goes far beyond what you can imagine. You might not fully realize it, but something is being created here between you two, something that can't be described in simple words, something that can't be resolved with just a few conversations. It's a bond that strengthens, that leaves you feeling ungrounded, that makes you want more. Because deep down you know it's different from anything you've ever experienced. It's more than you thought was possible. Comment on what you think about this. You're feeling that it's something unique, aren't you? Every moment with this person, every conversation, every look, the feeling that what exists between you two is something that can't be compared, something that can't simply be put into words or even expectations. It seems like everything around you disappears when you're together, and the rest of the world somehow doesn't matter. This connection is deep, it's intense, and it's not just something physical, as if the body was solely responsible for everything you feel. This person is completely lost in their own feelings. When they think of you, it's as if the rest of the universe disappears. All they know is that you are there at the center of their thoughts, and what happens between you is stronger than anything else they have ever experienced. It's as if, suddenly, they find themselves in a place where everything seems to make sense, where you, without even realizing it, are the point of balance. It's hard to understand, right? But you feel it, you notice it. As if time molds itself around you, and every second becomes too valuable to be wasted. What we call chemistry might be just an empty word compared to what it really is, because what exists there, between the two of you, can't be called simple attraction or simple desire. It goes beyond that, it goes to a place that you can't easily define. And that's precisely why this person can't stop thinking about you. Because this connection isn't something you just experience once and then forget. It isn't a romance that will dissipate with time, or a story that will be forgotten as days go by. I know you feel that there is something real in all of this, don't you? Something that goes beyond what you've lived before, that goes beyond all your past experiences. Something that can't be explained with reason. You've tried to rationalize it, you've caught yourself trying to understand what is happening, but you realize there is no explanation. Sometimes you even try to distance yourself, but this attraction pulls you back. Because deep down you know it's not just another story. It's not just another simple love, it is something much greater. When you look at this person, you realize that they are in the same state, perhaps even more intense. It is not something we feel only in moments of pleasure, but in the little things, in the details, in the way they talk, the way they look at you, the way they seek you out. It is not a mere obsession or a whim. It is something that springs from the deepest part of each of you, as if you are connected by something greater, something that cannot be expressed in simple words, something that makes you want to stay close, always closer. And I know that perhaps you have doubts. Maybe you ask yourself, is this real? Does this person feel what I feel? Sometimes it is hard to see, isn't it? But still, you realize that the intensity is there, that the connection is in every gesture, in every look. And I know you are questioning it, but deep down you know that this goes beyond any doubt. It goes beyond uncertainties, because you feel somewhere deep that this connection is real, that what exists between you two is unique, incomparable, and that nothing will be able to erase what is happening. There is something between you two that defies logic, that surpasses the most rational explanations. Sometimes you try to convince yourself that it is just a phase, or that it is just a momentary attraction. But then, something inside you tells you no, that it is something more, something that goes far beyond a simple attraction. And the person you are talking about, the one who is so lost in their own feelings, feels this with the same intensity, without doubts. I know that you don't just want to be another chapter in this person's life, and without a doubt, they don't see you that way either. What you have is something that can't be explained simply. It's not just a romance that will appear and fade away with time. It's not something that will disappear, because what happens between you two can't be left behind. No matter what happens, this person will always be somehow thinking of you. And deep down you know that. When you give in to this kind of feeling, to this undefinable connection, you realize there's no denying what's happening. Because in the end, you feel the depth of it. You feel how it reflects in every thought, in every moment that passes. It's not just about now, it's about something that extends, that goes far beyond the present time. You realize that every word, every glance exchanged has a profound meaning. And when you look into this person's eyes, you see that they are completely immersed in this feeling as well. There is no more room for doubt. The connection is real. And that's the part you may not have fully grasped yet. You and this person are in sync in a way that can't be described, but both feel it. And that's the most powerful thing of all. It's not about the explanation, it's not about finding the right words. It's about knowing that somehow, what exists between you two is something that can't be explained, but is felt. And that's why things don't happen simply. Because when the connection is too strong, when the passion goes beyond, there's no denying it. It's a force, it's something uncontrollable. You are totally into it, and the person is too. Have you ever stopped to think that perhaps both of you are feeling this way at the same time, but with an intensity that you hardly know how to deal with? Maybe this is the turning point, where both know that this is more than anything else you have ever experienced. This indeed is what happens when two souls meet in such an intense way. And no matter how difficult it may be to fully understand, you know that you are living something that cannot be described in words. I know that doubt will appear. It's normal. You will question yourself, you will try to rationalize everything as you always do. But deep down, you know that nothing will erase this connection, and that nothing will change the intensity of it. This is real. And somehow, it will last longer than you imagine. I don't know exactly what the future holds for you two, but what is certain is that what is happening will not be forgotten. And no matter how time passes, no matter how circumstances change, what exists between the two of you will never cease to be. That you can be sure of. Comment. What do you think about this? I know that at this moment, the doubts are still there. Maybe you are wondering if all this makes any sense, or if it's just another phase, another excess of feeling that will pass. But deep down you know it's not like that. You feel that there is something unique, something uncontrollable in this bond, something that pulls you back whenever you try to distance yourself. It's not just the moment, it's not just a fleeting passion, it's a force that envelops you in a way you never expected, and much less controlled. This feeling is building day by day, with every word, with every gesture. And make no mistake, this person is experiencing it with the same intensity as you are. There is a type of magnetism between you that simply cannot be explained. It is not something you can find just anywhere. It is not something common. It is not just any attraction. When she thinks of you, it is not just a fleeting desire. It is not just curiosity or want. It is a deep connection, something that overflows, and she cannot simply ignore it. No matter how many times you try to convince yourself that this will pass, you know it is impossible to deny what is happening. When the intensity of this connection takes over, it is as if the world around simply disappears. It no longer matters what other people think. It doesn't matter what the future might bring. What matters is the now, what is happening between you, something that cannot be ignored, cannot be left behind. And the most interesting thing is that while you are thinking about all this, the person is also thinking of you in the same way. What you are creating goes beyond any explanation we might try to find, because when there is something so strong between two people, the world simply falls into place. It is not about reason, it is not about logic, it is about what overflows in each one's chest. And that you cannot deny. This person has already completely surrendered to this, without even trying to understand, without even needing immediate answers. Just living, without hesitation. And you? Are you also giving yourself up in the same way? Are you allowing yourself to live this with the same intensity? Because the only thing you need to do now is to accept. Accept what is happening, without fears, without hesitations, without wanting to have all the answers right away, because that's what will make you understand, more deeply, what is being built between the two of you. There is no rush. There is no need to hurry in putting labels on what is happening, in trying to understand everything. What exists between you two is something that reveals itself over time, at the right moment. But I know that sometimes the fear of giving in is so great that you find yourself making excuses to distance yourself. You try to rationalize everything, try to control everything, as if it were possible to escape this overwhelming force. But you see, what you are experiencing now cannot be controlled. You can't put it in a box and convince yourself that you can walk away. You can't hide what is happening between you two. You can't deny how real it is. You might try to do that, but deep down, you know that nothing will change the way you feel, and that's exactly the point, understand? How much are you willing to give yourself to what is happening? How much are you willing to live this story, even without knowing where it will lead? How much are you ready to explore the unknown, the intensity of the moment, without worrying about tomorrow? When you try to hold on too much, you lose the essence, and what you have with this person is not something that can be confined. It is something that needs to flow, needs to expand. Let it happen without rush, and you will see that little by little, things will fall into place in such a perfect way that it will seem like it has always been this way. Because the truth is that you both have something unique, something that is being built right now at this very moment as you try to understand what is happening. It may be difficult to deal with this, especially if you are not used to giving yourself in this way, but the person you are connecting with feels the same. They feel that there is something bigger happening between you, and although they might not know exactly what it is, they don't try to control it either. They feel it and follow, and maybe that is the answer to all your doubts. Have you realized that by trying to control the situation, you might be preventing this connection from evolving naturally? By trying to set limits, you are blocking the flow of this energy. Let it manifest, let it expand without fear. Because no matter how much you try to rationalize everything, the truth is that this connection cannot be explained. And maybe that is exactly the beauty. It doesn't need explanations. It doesn't need definitions. What matters is what you are creating here and now. I know it's hard. I know the fear of being hurt, of giving yourself completely, of being swept away by this overwhelming passion is great. But maybe it's time to ask yourself, why am I trying to control something that is already happening so intensely and naturally? The answer is simple: because you are afraid. Afraid of giving yourself completely, afraid of losing yourself in this feeling. But let me tell you something. Losing yourself does not mean that you will become less. Losing yourself means that you surrender to what really matters, to what really makes a difference in your life. I challenge you to live this without fear, to allow yourself to surrender body and soul to what is happening between the two of you. Because this person is already there, living it intensely and wanting more. And you, are you going to lag behind? Are you going to hide behind fears and doubts? Or are you going to surrender to something that can be so transformative, so true, that it will leave you speechless? Think about it. I know the answer is inside you. And the person you think so much about, they are also surrendering to this with the same intensity. Do not be deceived. There is no turning back. What is happening between you two is something powerful, and it can be more than you imagine. Surrender without fear and see where this can take you. Now tell me, are you going to let this opportunity slip away? Or are you going to live it to the end without fear, without reservations? You have in your hands the chance to live something unique, and it is not worth hesitating. I do not know what the future holds for you two, but what I do know is that at this moment, what is happening is more than anyone could imagine. And this, my friend, cannot be ignored. I know that at this moment you are reflecting on everything that has been said here. Maybe you are feeling that tightness in your chest, that doubt, but also the desire to fully surrender to this unique connection that is forming. The question is, what are you going to do with all this now? Are you going to continue to be afraid, trying to control or hide? Or are you going to let this feeling flow and surrender wholeheartedly to what is happening? I understand you, and I know it is not easy. But I challenge you, surrender. Live without fear. Because sometimes the only way to discover what is truly valuable is to allow things to happen naturally, without haste, without pressure. What you are experiencing is not just another experience. It is something much greater, something that can transform your life in a way you never imagined. Now, I want to hear from you. How are you dealing with this connection? Are you ready to embrace it? Or are you still holding back? Leave your comment below. Tell me how you have been feeling about this and what you think about everything we talked about here. Your opinion is important. And of course, don't forget to like this video if you related to it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take this opportunity to do so now so you don't miss any messages like this one, which could change the course of your emotions and your life. Remember, what you are experiencing now could be deeper than you imagine. Don't let this chance pass by.